It's day 18 of our 4-week trip in Thailand, and clearly our unlucky streak hasn't run out yet. We started the morning by hopping on the bike and heading up to Khao Hua Juk Pagoda. It sits right on top of a hill, so you get such a good lookout over Koh Samui. And you can actually see the airport from up here, so you can see all the planes landing and taking off. After that, we headed for lunch at Piri Piri, which is basically Thailand's answer to Nando's. I got a peri peri chicken wrap and Harrison got half a chicken, and honestly it was pretty good. A really good dupe, definitely cheaper than a Nando's, and lined the stomach, which is all you can ask for. Lamai Beach was right next door, so we headed there. Our plan was to go for a little dip, but they had the red flags up, so we weren't able to swim. The water was so choppy, so instead we made our way to our next stop, Hin Ta Hin Yai, which is famous because the rocks are meant to look like male and female body parts. You can guess which ones. Such a random tourist attraction, but it was really quite underwhelming. They weren't really giving what they were meant to give, but it was nice to walk along the rocks and look at the water. And then we headed to the overlap stones. We drove past overlap stone number 1 and decided to go to number 2 first. I think this is where we made our biggest mistake. The hills on the way up were ridiculously steep. I genuinely didn't think our little 125cc bike was going to make it. We got halfway up one massive hill and I shouted at Harrison to stop. There was a sign that said danger, no motorbikes, but he didn't see it and drove past it, so I hopped off and he ended up having to roll the bike back down the hill. Harrison, being the most optimistic guy ever, was fully convinced he would have made it up. We paid 20 baht to park at some random guy's house, which sounds questionable, but it was absolutely fine. And then we started walking. When I tell you the camera doesn't do this justice and the hill was nearly vertical, I promise I'm not exaggerating. And bear in mind, I thought we were driving up here, so here I am in wet Birkenstocks from the beach, a bikini and little shorts. I was not dressed to hike a mountain. We got to a sign that said the overlap stone and hand photo spot was only 100 metres away, so we were buzzing like yes, nearly there, only to keep walking for about another 300 metres and get to a sign that said it was still 500 metres away. We were both not impressed. It was a bit of a sketchy walk up too. Eventually, sweating and slightly regretting our life choices, we made it to the top. And then we had to pay 200 baht each to get in. And of course we had no choice because we had climbed all that way, we weren't going to turn back around. We paid and went through to this little restaurant area first, which had bean bags overlooking the island. It was really pretty, but it's also very clever because by then you're dying of dehydration and you have no choice but to buy an overpriced drink. We took some photos at the overlap stone and enjoyed the view, and we discovered that there was a free shuttle bus down, which we later realised you could also get up, so we actually climbed all that way for nothing. But let's not dwell on that because I'll cry. And honestly, I don't even know what we even did for the rest of the day because I clearly didn't feel the need to film it. So yeah, that wraps up the day there. So save this post and hit follow and follow along because tomorrow we're heading on a day trip to Koh Phangan.